Hi guys, got another computer to look at here. Guy brought this into the workshop this morning. He repairs laptops and computers, desktops, along with another guy who works with him. He does mobile phones and tablets, yeah, and they don't do component level repair, and just by chance somebody put him on to me, so he came to find me, found the workshop, and we had a good chat this morning. And he thinks he can have quite a lot of work for me here, component level repair work. So he brought me this computer, just a bit more light for you. This morning, it's Asus P7 P55LX, yeah. He brought it in with one stick of DDR3, and he said it wasn't booting, basically. I tried my post analyzer card and it doesn't seem to count up, it just sticks on 0, 0. And then eventually I figured out where to connect a little bleeper, yeah, because it wasn't obvious where it actually connected, marked on the board, yeah. So I got the user manual, figured that out, and basically now, without any RAM in, it'll bleep, so you get like one long, like beep, bip, bip, so one long, two short, yeah. If you put a RAM in, this is a single stick he brought with him, a 4 gig, it goes bleep, bip, 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 so you get 3 bips, a different code, yeah, but it still doesn't boot. Down by here, you can't see it, well, I'll show you in a little bit. There's a button that says Mem OK, and I've seen these buttons before on Asus motherboards, and the red LED light lights up. So what I found is, if I put memory in and I hold this button down when it starts, so well, let it boot up, beep, bip, 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 yeah, red light on. Hold this button in and keep it held in, it shuts down and restarts, and then if I let go of the button there, the light flashes a few different ways, and it actually boots, yeah, one bleep and it boots and I get a picture. I can go to the BIOS and save the BIOS defaults, yeah, and once I've saved the BIOS defaults, if I press if I just restart it without switching it off, it'll then boot, but it crashes. I've tried a few different hard drives on, I can get into Windows loading the drivers, but at some point it will crash, yeah. If I switch it off and back on again, I'm back to this beep, bip, 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 and I have to hold the button again, do this whole thing again to get it to boot up. So I've tried it with this single memory, I've tried a single RAM of my own, I've tried two 1 gig strips, and I've tried 2 4 gig strips of a different make, and I'm using, you know, decent quality RAM here, and no matter what I use, I get the same problem. I've tried a couple of these HyperX Blue, yeah, and there I've tried a single strip, I've tried a couple of these Corsair 1 gig, but no matter what I try, I'm stuck in this problem. Every time I power it off, I have to go through this holding the button. One suspicion I have is maybe the BIOS is corrupted, but I don't know that for sure. I also don't know what CPU's in here. I should have had a look when it was in Windows actually, and make sure it's properly compatible with this board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the motherboard out, get it onto the bench with a known good power supply and my own hard drive, and I'm going to go through the process of trying to sort out this to make sure, see if I can get it to start without going through this sequence. If you weren't quite sure what I meant, you'll see in a minute, because I'll get the motherboard out and I'll show you. Okay, so here's the motherboard, yeah. First we can say it's fairly clean actually, this one, apart from obviously around the process of cooling fan, there's dust everywhere, yeah. This is no doubt part of the Sahara Desert that blows over here on a regular basis. So I'm going to give this a clean. I'm going to actually take the cooling fan off this as well and just have a look to see what condition the heatsink compound's in, and see what process is on this. So let's get this fan off here and see what we've got underneath it. Okay, so the first thing we can see, really, we don't really have anything much in the way heatsink compound. It's dry, yeah. I mean, if I rub, a bit's coming off on my finger, but it's dry, yeah. And there's a lot of dust under here, which doesn't surprise me here. And we're the only place in the world that suffers from this dust, by the way. This was not a problem I found in the UK, not like we have here in the Canary Islands. What's it like where you are? What's your local contaminant? Yeah. So the socket looks good. We can just zoom down on that and let's just have a quick look at it. Yeah, CPU socket looks good. This could be a candidate for going to the sink and having a good wash, but it's actually not too bad, this one. I think I'll just brush the dust off this one. Yeah, so all the pins are looking good in there. Nothing broken that I can see, nothing bent I can see. What sort of CPU do we have on this one? Let's have a quick look to see what it is. Okay, this machine's nothing like what I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was a 775. It's i5 750. So this is like first generation of the i3, i5, i7. Yeah. You know, I had a feeling that these actually had 3-channel RAM. Obviously wrong with that. So, processor, we can look that up and we can see if that's compatible with our board. Yeah, it's all clean. Let's get a bit of heatsink compound on this first, and then let's power this up and you can actually see what it does. So it's all connected up. I've got a known good power supply that we use for just about everything. I've attached my switch and we've attached the bleeper. Yeah, there's no RAM on here at the moment. This is the graphics card that came with it, which is GT240. There's the GT240 on here, if you can see that. Asus card. Doesn't require any external power, so we can just stick that on. Look at the monitor, and then at the moment there's no RAM in it. Yeah, so at the moment I don't have any RAM on the machine. I'll put the other camera where you can see the post analyzer card, and then let's see what this machine actually does. So there you go. So there's the post analyzer card. Yeah. At the moment there's no RAM in here, so I'm expecting when I power this on that this would bleep. Yeah, that'd be the normal thing. And let's see if the analyzer card actually does anything. So power on, starter up. Yeah, 112 short, but it's not giving us any post codes. Yeah, 112 short. Just interesting to try this in the other slot. Yeah, it's like these PCI slots don't give any code to the analyzer. I could try it maybe in the PCIe slots, but I've had a look around. There's no like TPM header on here. Sometimes you find like a pin header saying TPM or was it debug? Yeah, LPC debug, and you can then attach this card using these connectors. But I don't see anything on this board, to be quite honest. I'll just very quickly, I'll try it. If I see anything, I'll let you look. Yeah, so I've just put the analyzer card in the PCIe. Nothing in that one. Just get another two. Let's have a quick look. On. No. So it's not giving any codes, which is a bit of a nuisance. So well, I think we'll have to live without that. Yeah. Yeah, so we're getting bleeps, but we can't see any codes on the analyzer, which is a total pain in the butt, basically. Okay, so we'll put some RAM in it, yeah. This is HyperX Blue Kingston. It's a 4 gig sticks, these are, yeah. Not quite sure what speed they are, I'm sure I could look it up. But yeah, I know this memory works, I know it's good memory. Slots A1 and A2 are the blue ones. So let's put it into A1. Yeah. Stick a memory in there. Now before we're getting 1 long and 2 short bleeps, yeah? When we put the memory in the right way round, let's see what we get with this one. Okay, so we're in. So we're getting 1 long and 2 short. I'm sure you could hear it before. Let's see what you get now. Now the post analyzer card's working. And actually it's working. I'm going to get a picture out of this. No. I still don't have anything on the screen. Now you think I should have something on the screen. Just put my monitor onto DVI. Yeah, it is on DVI. No, I still don't have any video output coming from it. And then it switched off. Is it going to start again on its own? Doesn't look like it, does it? Let's stick. No, let's just try start it again. Yeah, let's go again with that and see what happens. Start. See, 1 and then 3, so it behaved differently this time. Yeah. I don't have anything on the screen. One. Still nothing on the screen. Let's try it with 2 sticks of. Oh well, hold on. 1 moment. 1 moment. I may have something. The sync light on the monitor came on and went off again. Nothing. It shut down. So just as the thing shut down, the blue light came on. Let's try what I did before. So I'm going to start it again, yeah. And after it bleeps, I'm holding the memory button down. I'm going to keep it held down, this Mem OK button, yeah. It started back up again on its own. Now let's see what it does. You see the light flashing down here, the Mem OK. One bleep, yeah. And you see now I have a picture. Now it boots up. So what I'll do is I'll get a keyboard. Let's go into the BIOS and load the BIOS defaults, yeah? Let's do that on it. Okay, just as paused the recording then, it came up to say no keyboard detected. Fair enough, I didn't have a keyboard plugged in. And it said USB device over current status detected will shut down in 15 seconds. And then it shut down, but there's no USB device attached to this. Even the keyboard I've attached is a PS2 one, yeah? So let's try this again. So I've got a keyboard on here now. Let's see if we can actually get into the BIOS. So we'll start it up. No picture at the moment. The bleeps, yeah. 1 long 3 short. Okay, looks like it's continuing to boot. Strange this shows no codes when I have 1 stick of no memory in, but it still bleeps. I find that very strange. 1 bleep, yeah. And I don't have a picture. I mean, I have a blank screen, yeah. There's nothing on the screen. And now it's shut down, yeah. So we'll do what we did before. This time I'm going to press the Memory OK button as I did last time, yeah. So power on. After it bleeps, see this red light's on here, yeah? Gone off again. Now I'm going to hold this button in. It shuts down. Restarts, let go of the button. And if this is behaving as it did every other time, this will now boot into the BIOS, yeah? Always now I've got a keyboard on, I should be able to get into the BIOS on this now, yeah? Yeah, 1 bleep. And I have a picture. You can see on the screen up here, yeah? Just trying to go into the BIOS. USB device over current status detected. But there's no USB devices on it. Let's have a look. Let's just check all the USB connectors, yeah? Okay, I checked all the USB sockets. They look absolutely fine. Nothing stuck in them. But I have noticed a jumper on this board. Let me show you this. So there's a little jumper down here, and it was connected this way to 5 volt standby, and I've just put it back to the other way, 5 volts, because that's the way it sort of shows it being in the user manual. So and it says USB power, which is interesting. So let's put that over there and let's see what it does now. Okay, so we're ready to go again. Let's put the power on. I've changed that jumper setting. So what it does now. Yeah, long 3 short. Does it boot or does it just shut down after a little while? Well, it's gone to zeros. I don't have a picture on the screen. Is it going to shut back down? No, it doesn't seem to do anything. So changing that jumper has stopped that over current message. I thought that was just set wrong, you know. Okay, let's hold the memory button in. Now it shuts down. Now it restarts, and let's let go of the button. Okay, we're going to bleep. Yeah, one bleep, and we have a picture. So let's go into the BIOS. Yeah, that message has gone away now. Right, we're in the BIOS, yeah. So all I'm going to do in here, press a button and it goes off. I wanted to just press a button on the, to move across. I was going to save the BIOS defaults, but it obviously didn't want to do that. Start again. I'm thinking this machine has a corrupted BIOS. Okay, I've started by holding that memory OK button in again. See if it will actually boot the first time this time. So, yeah, one bleep. Loading BIOS. Let's get into the BIOS, okay. Press del a few times. Come on, come on. I'm not sure scan devices. F1 to resume. I think I'll just are we into the BIOS. No. So I'm thinking, I am getting quite convinced. I'll try this one more time. I'll pause the camera, but I'm getting quite convinced I have a corrupted BIOS with this. Okay, I tried again, and I actually managed to get into the BIOS this time. So let's see if I can actually save the BIOS defaults. No, as soon as I touch a key, it goes off. Okay, that's got me convinced. So what we're going to do with this is reprogram the BIOS. Actually, I just tried that again, by the way, with 2 RAM in. And I'm getting the same thing. This red LED Mem OK is lighting up and staying on. It gives it 1 long and 3 short. I hold the button down, it restarts. As it reboots, I let go, and then it boots up and went into the BIOS. But as soon as I press the button for the BIOS screen to appear, it just crashed. Yeah. So I think there's just enough to telling me BIOS, BIOS, BIOS with this one. So how are we going to sort this one? Well, we're going to do it the easiest way, and that's we're going to take the BIOS off the board and program it on with an EEPROM programming. We're quite lucky with this one because the BIOS is actually in a socket. I mean, quite often you would have to unsolder it, yeah. And if you've watched my videos, you will have seen that a few times where I've had to desolder the BIOS. So let's just see if we can get the BIOS chip off this one without sticking anything to my fingers or bending any pins. Yeah, there we go. So that's the BIOS chip. Now let's go find a file for this one. Okay, so we've got the BIOS chip, which was very handily in a socket. Yeah, save messing around having to unsolder it. Let's see, it's MX, I think, is the maker of this one. If I can just find my torch, and let's have a look to see what it is. Of course, the focus has gone out, of course, so you can't see it. Let's just adjust the focus a little bit on that. Let's have a look to see what we actually have. Yeah. So it's a MX25L. Even I can't read it. 25L 1605 DPI. Right. That's what it is. Okay, so first of all we need to find ourselves a BIOS file, and the best place to go for that is the manufacturer's website, yeah, onto Oasis's website. So now let's go over and see what we've got. So just googling P7 P55LX, yeah, BIOS, and it brings me to this site. So we can see there's a few various versions of it, yeah, and the most recent one was from 2011. No, sorry, 2012. Yeah, there's the date. That's quite a big file, but it's saying that it contains the BIOS and some sort of RAID, downloaded driver. Yeah, so we'll grab that one. We'll just save that. Let's call it a folder for going to, yeah. Where are we? Give me a folder, yeah. Okay, so let's look at P5 BIOS, yeah. Let's just stick it in there. So that's that one. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to grab the version before, which is just a BIOS file, yeah. Let's see if that's of any use to us as well. So let's have that. Okay. Okay, so we have some files. So let's go and have a look to see what we've actually downloaded now. Probably the easiest way is just go into here and just go to the folder. Yeah. So there's our files. Now, what have we got? That one. And this one. Yeah. That's a ROM file. That's a binary file. Yeah, that's a ROM file. It's a 2 megabyte file. That's a nice round number for an EEPROM file. Yeah, sometimes they're not called ROM. Sometimes they're called bin. That's okay. Sometimes I have to actually change the name effectively. Yeah. What's the other one? Does that contain the BIOS? Yeah, that's also got a ROM file. So we'll use this one. We'll use the later version. Okay. Again, should be a 2 megabyte file. Okay, so we've got a good file. Right, let's set up the EEPROM programmer so we can actually do this. Okay, so this is quite a simple thing to use, really. Just connect the USB to the computer and then select the type of file that we want to program, and the right BIOS, of course, the right chip. Okay, so we just need to now run the software for the programmer. So we'll run this, and we need to find the chip which we want to program, and it's a 25L 1605 DPI 1605. Well, I can see 1605D. Yeah. I'm not quite sure which pin out. I think it's actually this one, you know. So it's definitely the 8 pin, yeah. MX25L 1605D. So we'll choose that. We'll soon figure out if it's the right one anyway. The manufacturer's come up correct, so that's good. We'll put the chip in the programmer, and it goes in at this end, yeah. It doesn't need any adapters, which is good. And we'll try and read the chip. So we just go onto the read button and we click read. Now this number that's come up is actually identified the chip. That's like a unique identifier, so it knows it's the right chip. That means we know we actually chose the right one. It shows you here also where the chip goes and which way around. Yeah, it's quite handy. So this is now reading the chip, yeah, and it could take a few minutes while it's actually doing it. So read finished, it's done, yeah, cancel. And you can see here now the contents of the chip, yeah. Getting these large blocks of FF in the BIOS is quite normal. Yeah, that's nothing unusual. Often if you go towards the end, you can often find some actual code, like some sort of numbers and dates in here, yeah. So that's got the chip read. So what we'll do is now we will save that. So file, save, yeah, and I'll put it into the same folder that we just used, which I think was called P5 BIOS. Just find the folder, P5, yeah, and then here we will call it like original, yeah. So always save the original one in case you kind of like screwed up, yeah. It's saving this as a bin file, yeah. It has a few different options, but it saves as a bin file, so we'll just save that, yeah. It's been saved, okay. Now we need to open the one that we downloaded. So open, and then we'll go into the folder, P5, yeah. I'm actually in the wrong folder. I'm in a folder called PS. That's probably where I've just saved it to as well. P5 BIOS, this is the one, yeah. I saved it in the wrong folder. So that's the later version, yeah. And it finds the ROM files, it's okay. Okay. So that's actually read in the new file. You can see straight away, if we look down here, it's now got a different date on there, yeah? That's the newer file. Okay, so we have a file. What we need now to do is actually program the chip. So that's quite simple. We just click on the P button and we tell it to program. Okay. And it'll go through its stages. So first of all, it's going to erase the chip. That's done. Now it's going to actually program it. It does take a little bit longer than when it was reading, but you know it's not too long for these 2 megabyte files, so I won't bother to pause the video. Perhaps I should have done. What can I talk about? The weather's nice, you know. It's gorgeous out there at the moment. It's just glorious weather. We had a heat wave sort of back end of last week. But it's like the weather here, you know, it's lovely, and then you have a heat wave, and it just goes back to being lovely again. Like when I was in the UK, you couldn't have a heat wave without having thunderstorms and turning absolutely crap afterwards, you know. Here it doesn't, it just goes like normal, heat wave, normal. I don't miss the thunderstorms, I'll tell you that. And they can be spectacular, but they're a bit wet, you know, a bit damp. Okay, so that's programmed the chip. So what we need to do now is put the chip back on the motherboard, and let's see whether or not that's actually fixed the problem for us. Okay, so I've put it all back together. I've put the BIOS chip back in. It's connected back up on the power, ready to go. So let's switch her on and see what she does now. See if we still get the bleep, bleep, bleep or not. Oh, well, it's doing something. I don't hear any bleeps yet, so it's definitely behaving differently. What about now? No, no bleeps. Still nothing on the screen, I will say, but I don't have any bleeps. So reprogramming the BIOS has definitely changed the behaviour, but it's still not working. Give it a few seconds. I'll let you press the Memory OK button again to let it restart and see what that does now. Yeah, it's not going to give us a picture. Hold the Memory OK button in. When it starts, let go. See what that does. I'll get ready to press delete if it's going to go into the BIOS, yeah? Yeah, I've got a picture. Can we now get into the BIOS? No, this one's proving to be troublesome by the looks of it. I'll try again. Let's just simplify this configuration. Yeah, let's go back to single channel memory. Just switch the power off there. No, it's off. Let's go back into single channel memory configuration. Get back into a more basic state. Let's see what it does now. Apart from just being, you know, counting numbers, yeah. Still no bleeps, so changing the BIOS certainly has made some difference to this. And it's not always connection on the speaker either. Much the same, goes to 0, doesn't give us a picture, yeah. Hold the button in. Okay, restarting again. Bit like watching paint dry. This is, sorry guys, this is the way it is. This is the reality of this job sometimes, you know, and this is something you have to get used to. Sometimes it's a matter of, you know, going through the motions, yeah, until we get the results that we want. Okay, we have a picture. BIOS screen. I hit delete a few times. Oh, we're now in the BIOS. Now let me see if I can actually press a key on the keyboard, the crossways key. See, as soon as I touch it, it goes off. Yeah? I'm just hitting like the right hand arrow to move across the screen, yeah, to select. I wanted to save the BIOS default. So I could try pressing F10. We can give that a go, just out of interest, see what that does. Okay, so after a number of times messing about, plugging it in and out and trying different memory, I've got the fault effectively now. It's changed somewhat, and what it's doing, it's going to 2A and giving the B bip. Now sometimes it just stops on 2A and sometimes it carries on a bit further, but that 2A is like a graphics card problem. And I'm thinking now this is why I'm getting a different tone, like 1 long and 2 short as RAM and 1 long and 3 short as GPU. Even though the GPU card isn't coming on. I mean, I've got no picture at the moment, yeah. I press the memory OK, it boots around and I get a picture. As soon as I try to move anything in the BIOS, it crashes, yeah. And what I've noticed is that I can put this into either of the PCIe 16 slots, doesn't matter where I put it, yeah. And we'll boot it up again, and I'm sure now we're getting like a reliable, effectively the same effect, yeah. So 2A, VGA light is on, then it carries on, and I get no picture, yeah. So because of that I thought, okay, well, let's try another graphics card. So I've got some old one here, again, bleep, but there's no picture, yeah. And I think, I mean, the fact I'm then pressing this memory OK, and then this graphics card gives a picture, and it locks up in the BIOS, yeah. So let's stick this one in it, yeah. Try that. Now let's see what it does. You see it's going past that now, yeah? One bleep. I'll get a picture. No messing around having to press the memory button. So it appears what we have here is like a rather strange effect caused by a faulty graphics card. Acting, you know, in a somewhat strange way. You see, I can now move around in the BIOS. Yeah, before, as soon as I touch the button or press F10, anything, it just crashed. Yeah. So we can now load the setup defaults, and we can save that. Yeah. I'm going to stick the original hard drive on this, and let's see whether it will now boot. Yeah. Let's see if his OS is working. Okay, let's get the hard drive. Okay, so I have an hard drive on with Windows 10, and you can see now it's quite happily installing the drivers using SDI, and that seems to be going quite happily. I tried this previously before we took it out of the case. On the odd time I could get it to boot with one memory stick, and it kind of started loading and then just crashed. But now it seems to be going quite happily. So yeah, this one appears to be fixed. It was quite interesting, really. So that was fun. Not. It turns out in the end it was a GPU, which is quite strange. As I say, before I started this video, while the thing was still in the case, I tried, you know, just changing memory and whatever. Became convinced it was to do with the BIOS, because when you held this memory test button in, it would then work, and I'd actually managed to get it into Windows with one hard drive. And when I started to load the drivers, then it crashed. The screen went blank and it wouldn't come back. That's when I decided to make a video, take it apart, and let's see if it's the BIOS. Yeah, and it wasn't. Okay, so that's the problem. Interesting. It also seems that like this took a while to kind of fail properly. Yeah, it was sort of doing all sorts of things. Eventually got to the point where it would just go to 2A and bleep regardless of which slot it was in. Yeah. So I'll see if the guy lets me use this to make another video. Maybe worth having a look at this just to see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. Anyway, we'll call that one a repair. Job done. The drivers are just about finished loading now, so we have everything up on the screen. Yeah, and yeah, nice little job. See you all soon on another one. Ciao for now.